How do I get started on anything? That has been a question that I've been asking myself for the last few months. I'm quite the expert at this point, on theorizing how to get started on something, that is. The short answer is, you can just start. The long answer, well, it's a long answer. To understand how to get started on anything, we have to understand why we're not starting it. That one thing that we know we want to do, but just doesn't. There could be multiple different reasons for that, like you might have different priorities, that you don't have time, but another one that is the hardest to understand is that you just don't feel like doing it. And those things that we have been putting off the most are the ones that we really should be doing. The reason that we don't do those tasks is that we're demotivated. There are multiple ways to combat demotivation. The answer is to eliminate as much friction as possible between you and the tasks. Pause the video and answer it in your head. What would you do if you have a personal project you want to do, like making a video, finishing up an artwork, or even just researching or studying? What would you do to reduce the friction? It would be pretty hard to visualize everything in your head, and that's why you should write it down. It is simple but effective. It serves as a much needed reminder of what you need to get done instead of needing to think about it. But what should you write down? You can write down short-term tasks that you can do. Making it as simple as possible is important. And splitting it up is much better than doing everything all at once in the long run. So jot down the very first step that you need to do. Don't write down everything you need because the task would seem more overwhelming and your brain wants to do it even less. Once you complete the very first task, you can simply write down the second. Because when you visualize what you have done already, you'll be motivated to finish it. Setting a deadline can also be helpful. You should estimate how long the task should take to comfortably finish, and make the time half of that. This will make sure you will complete the task efficiently. As refers to Parkinson's law, work will expand to fill the time for its allocated completion. The less time you give it, the faster it will be completed, and you can always improve it beyond the deadline. A complete first draft should just be finished. Another way is to just not think about it too much. We oftentimes underestimate our own abilities and doubt it most of the time. But another perspective that we should have is to think that the task is easier than we think it is. If we think we can do it, chances are we will be able to do it. And if you can make it feel easier, try not thinking about it at all. You will arrive to do it, and you will be able to figure it out. You're smarter than you can possibly imagine. Just put some trust in yourself. There is also another way, and it is to start small. To only do a little bit at the start and progressively add more to it. Like if you want to start running, show up to the park and leave. The very next day, do 1 minute, and the day after that, do 2 minutes, and so forth. You don't need to fully commit and tire yourself out, and it is also a better way to find out if you truly enjoy a task or not. If you don't enjoy a task for 2 minutes, you sure as hell ain't gonna enjoy it for 2 hours. And for more people who have started and want to restart, don't be discouraged that other people are ahead of you. There'll always be a 5-year-old Asian kid better than you at everything you do anyways. So that doesn't matter, you can just be you. Just because someone drinks water faster than you doesn't mean you shouldn't drink water. If you really want to compare yourself on how you were years ago. Aren't you much better now? And if you're not, what's holding you back? Finding answers to those internal unasked questions can also make you feel more motivated. Sure, you might feel like a failure because you have given up, but you need to realize everyone will fuck up anyways. The more you fuck up, the more you learn. The most talented people are the ones that fucked up more times than you. So don't beat yourself up too much if you come short. For example, if you miss gym for 1 day, you don't just stop going because you missed a streak. You keep going the next day because you realized how much it means to you. Just improve on your mistake and move on. And remember that a good horse doesn't fall in the same place twice. Another thing to keep in mind is a simple physics equation. The initial energy is always the most. And then to keep it going requires energy, but less. That goes the same for mental energy. It'll take more focus and willpower at the start. It'll become easier the more you do it, but it will still require some effort. You just need to think about how much easier it is going to be if you start now. It will still require effort afterwards, and it is ultimately up to you if you want to keep it going or not. At last, you have to realize that you are always in control of your decisions. If you don't end up going to the gym one day, don't blame it on the bad weather or that you just don't feel like it today. Don't make excuses, and just know that you made a conscious decision to not go today. You had the choice, and it'll always be yours. and if you want to make it difficult or easy, is also up to you. So go and start something.